in Whittlesea. The exciting town of Whittlesea. And we're getting back onto the Nene Way. We've just got off the train. We're going to walk through the town and find the river. Hi, it's Diane and welcome to another walk along the Nene Way. And here we are again in Whittlesea. I like to record what I see in my sketchbook and you'll be seeing sketches as part of this video. This is the start of the Nene Way path. That should take us onto the river. We've just gone through Whittlesea, which is in the opposite direction down there. This is the start of a 2-day walk. And the first part of this walk is from Whittlesea to Guyherne, which is the next village. This path will take us down to the river. This looks more like it actually, rather than just a housing estate. The blackberries are early this year. Look at that. Yeah, we'll have to go blackberrying soon. I want to pick elderberry and make it into a cordial because that's out as well. Look at these. If you watched our previous video, you'll know that we've now entered into the Fenlands, and the Fenlands are part of Cambridgeshire. Okay, so now we walk in a straight line until we bump into Guyherne, which is the next village. We're now walking through reclaimed land that was mostly underwater. I've just realised that's the river there. You can't actually see it. It's covered in grasses.
There's double reeds up that way.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a fork there and there.
But that is the river down there. So we're actually following the river. How marvellous. I've been reading this story online about the Tiddy Mun. I'm not sure if it's this area or Lincolnshire, but there is a legend of a very small man that looks like a gnome that lived in this area. He's supposed to be some kind of nature god. And before the land was reclaimed and the river was recut, the people that lived in these areas would appease this Tiddy Mun by saying verses and leaving offerings because they very much depended on nature for their farming methods. But if I can find a picture or draw a picture, I shall draw a picture of Tiddy Mun and he'll be right here. The name Tiddy in the local dialect means little and Mun is man. Look here, right? There's a channel going down that side. And there's one going down that side, which I didn't even notice. But in the distance, you can see the light reflected on the water. So we're actually walking between two channels of water. Luckily, we're raised up a bit, so the ground is quite dry. We've got some cows over there. I've never walked through the landscape like this before, ever. This is one reason I wanted to do this walk, actually, because of the different landscapes that you go through. We began following the Nene Way last year at a place called Badby in Northamptonshire. And yes, if you were to look back on previous sections of this walk, you will see that the landscape is very different. And now we're walking through the Fenlands of Cambridgeshire. The Nene River changes dramatically as it goes through Northamptonshire, Cambridgeshire, and eventually through Lincolnshire out to the Wash. The walk follows it on its journey and it's really interesting to see how it changes. Look how dark the earth is. It's almost black like peat. And then the drainage channel's going down the middle as well. Being up here means that there's no shelter from the wind or rain or anything. Luckily there's a bit of wind but not that much. I think this would be a harsh walk to do in the winter, which is why we didn't do it last year. I actually feel quite weird today. I don't know how to describe it. A feeling of desolation, but I don't know why. The land was reclaimed from being underwater centuries ago, so it's been like this for a long time, but it still feels very manufactured, and you can be walking along a path like this for hours. There are 2 swans down there by the side of the river. I only take a very small camera with me and my mobile phone, so it's difficult to zoom in on anything that I see. The thing about doing these walks is if you take a better camera, they do weigh a lot more in your bag. So a lot of this footage is taken on my phone or a GoPro. It's so quiet here, it's actually a bit eerie. Hello. Yes, I know you've come to see who we are, haven't you? Well, they've got calves, look. They'll come down to the river to have a drink. How do you make this walk interesting? Well, you count the swans and the cows. And you just keep putting one foot in front of the other until there's a village somewhere. Look at the cows walking in line. So far we'd only seen cows and quite a lot of swans, but this area has a lot of wildlife, and we did see a couple of people doing some bird watching further down the path. Our next stop was Eldonell Wash, and we found some information there about the wildlife that you could see in the area. This section of the river is also known as Morton's Leam. You can see the river looks very straight, and that's because it is man-made. We are here, which is the Eldonell Wash. Oh, this must be Eldonell. That's where we are. So we're almost halfway. And let's go and look at the water. In winter, the flooded landscape provides a habitat for lots of wetland birds. And during the spring, there are lots of waders such as redshank. You can also see common crane. We did this walk in August, so the river has receded and the landscape is once again very different. Look at that. For the first part of this walk, we were accompanied by lots of cows and swans, but for the next part of the walk, we were joined by our woolly friends, the sheep. There's hundreds of sheep all the way down here. There are quite a few farms along the way. They're standing and looking at us. I hope that there isn't a ram with them, that's the only thing. There's like a few farms on the right hand side. This is a very rural area we're going through. No, you don't have to move, just stay there. We're just passing through your little... Oh, thanks. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. I think this walk could send you slightly mad. Just a little bit. What? Oh, cygnets! Oh. Now, ladies, there's no need to butt heads, is there? Hey? Behave yourselves. There's hundreds of sheep in front of us. I'm just going to keep walking towards them because I don't know what else to do. They might be being herded, I don't know, down here. I can't see a farmer anywhere. Where are you all going? Huh? Look at them all, they're going down there.
They must be going to the farm.
We're not going to stop for lunch because we'll be surrounded by sheep trying to eat our sandwiches. We've been walking for half an hour now and there's still hundreds of sheep walking towards us. I've never seen so many all in one go. They're all the way down near this path. And still the sheep continue. Do you know what? I think this is the last of the sheep. There's a few stragglers over there, but I think we've gone through most of the sheep. I was just talking about this landscape. I think the water probably floods up to this path. So in winter, you'd be walking in between two lots of water, which you can't see at the moment because it's really low. And what is this? I don't know. What's that? Is it a marker? It says Ordnance Survey something station. Triangulation station. What is an Ordnance Survey triangulation station? Anybody? Wake up at the back. After we'd gone through all the sheep, we thought our worries were over, but the next part of the walk brought another challenge. So we are about halfway.
Look, there's another gate there. Should we just go on top?
But that doesn't look...
That don't look safe.
We can't walk through there.
We'll have to go on top.
Yeah, it looks like at that we should be up there.
'Cause it could be
but it looks
boggy.
overgrown to me.
Yeah, doesn't it?
This path looks overgrown, but I think we can still walk on it. At this point we had another 4 miles to walk. This is it. This is the overgrown Neen Way. Oh, what a surprise. I thought we were doing well to walk through a path without any weeds on it. The path was difficult to walk through, but we did see lots of butterflies like this red admiral. And there was something else that I found along this walk, which I wasn't able to capture on my camera because it happened so quickly. But I put a foot down onto the ground and I heard a little squeak. And this very tiny baby bird ran across the path in front of me and went under some vegetation. I looked it up later on and found that it was a baby pheasant. I've made a sketch so you could see what it looked like. We did find a spot to sit and have lunch, and we saw lots of birds and wildlife while we were there. That'll do. Does it look similar to what we've been walking through for the last few hours? Probably. Despite all the beautiful butterflies and birds we saw while we were walking through the overgrown path, we decided to make things a bit easier for ourselves for the last mile. But what we're going to do is, because that's so difficult to walk through, we're going to go through this field, and it's only a couple of miles, and then we'll hopefully end up at Guyherne. This walk seems to go on forever, because you think, oh, there's that pointed tree at the end, and when we get there we'll finish the walk, but it never gets any nearer. You think, oh, just walk past a few more of these trees and we'll be there. I've done lots of walks in the English countryside. I've never done this type of walk where you more or less go in a straight line for 8 miles. It was lovely to see some of the wildlife, and it is a very open landscape, but I was glad to see Guyherne, which was the next village. As we came into the village, the sound of the traffic was quite jarring, and there was a bridge that enabled us to finally see the river. Look how wide the river is. And that's where we're staying. Look at that. We couldn't see it from where we were. We're in Guyherne. Here we are. We've made it 9 miles. Cheers!